Ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to introduce the President and CEO of Lake Forest Graduate School of Management, Jeffrey Anderson.
Greetings and welcome to Commencement. Gentlemen, please remove your cats or hats as we begin with the national anthem led by Bill Gordon. Please stand if you are able.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, Bill. Please be seated. How about this day? Is this beautiful? Before we begin with the formal part of the ceremony, I want a little help, if you don't mind, acknowledging and thanking a very special group. Several months ago, a group of people on the staff here, most of whom you've never met, came together as volunteers to make this happen for you today. There were many roadblocks, as is often the case in life today, but they would not be deterred. They were committed to make this happen for you. So I'd ask you to join me in a round of applause for the entire graduation committee. Are we ready? Shall we do this? All right, here we go. Degree candidates, spouses, children, parents, grandparents, friends, business associates, welcome. Thank you for joining our faculty, staff, board of directors, and others in celebrating the incredible accomplishments of the candidates gathered here today. There's an old quote I like to use on this day. It goes something like this: there are many trails up the mountain, but in time, they all reach the top. Today, you are sitting on top of that mountain. And while we're gathered here as a group, it's really about celebrating a collection of individual journeys. The nature of the challenges and the strength that got you through it all is a bit different for each of you. As we proceed through this ceremony, I encourage you to put aside the other distractions of life for a while. Reflect deeply on what you have accomplished. Give a hug to those that are important to you. Thank those who were there for you when you needed it most. And don't be afraid to smile as you walk across this stage, and drink up every minute of this special day because you've earned it. Now it's my pleasure to introduce the Director of Student Experience and Engagement, Curry Gashi.
Thank you, Jeff. What a joy it is to see all of you in person. We are so delighted that you're with us. The Hotchkiss Scholar Award was established in 1984 in honor of Dr. Eugene Hotchkiss, President Emeritus of Lake Forest College and former member of LFGSM Board of Directors. The vision of the Hotchkiss Scholar Award is to encourage and celebrate an LFGSM student who demonstrates outstanding academic achievement, leadership ability, and a commitment to their community. In addition to earning a 3.95 GPA or above, a Hotchkiss Scholar must complete 20 hours of service to a community or business organization. Before I introduce this year's Hotchkiss Scholar, I want to take a moment to recognize our 2020 Hotchkiss Scholar, Angie Beyer. Angie is currently Director of Pipeline Development at Pfizer, where she has worked for 5 years. She has 8 years of experience in medicinal chemistry and 6 years in process development. In her current role, Angie focuses on Pfizer's parenteral drug development capabilities. Angie also volunteers as a patient advocate and serves as treasurer for Condo Association. As a student, she served 2 years as a member of the Student Advisory Group, providing valuable feedback on our degree programs. Thank you, Angie, for your significant contributions to LFGSM and our broader community. Please join me again and congratulate Angie Beyer. This year's Hotchkiss Scholar recipient is Brendan Mahan. Brendan received his bachelor's and master's degree in agricultural science from the University College Dublin, focusing his studies on the Irish dairy industry. In 2003, he was offered an opportunity to spend 6 months in the U.S. running a food manufacturing plant. Brendan shared that he was given only 20 minutes to decide about this international assignment. With his love for travel and adventure, he decided to accept this new position. For 10 years, Brendan worked for Glambia Nutritionals as Director of Corporate Development. At Glambia, he drove the strategic positioning for the organization, led international teams through a series of acquisition, and established key offices, sales offices in South America. After Glambia, he spent 4 years as Vice President of Business Development for Treehouse Foods, where he grew the organization from $2.3 billion to over $6 billion through key acquisitions and market expansion in Asia and Mexico. Brendan is currently president of Enahan, a small consulting firm which he launched himself. He advises companies on strategy, mergers, and acquisitions and other initiatives. For Brendan's Hotchkiss project, he volunteered for Keynote. Keynote specializes in the market development for new food and nutritional ingredients. Brendan utilized the finance skills that he learned in the MBA program to evaluate opportunities in the milk industry to secure funding and create a preferred business model for the expansion of the product line. Please join me in welcoming the Hotchkiss Scholar of the Class of 2021, Brendan Mahan.
Thank you, Kerry. Good afternoon, President Anderson, Board of Directors, staff, faculty, family, friends, and most importantly, the graduates of the classes of 2020 and of 2021. It is an honor to speak to you on this special occasion. Today is a momentous day, not just because it affirms we all in fact got through our MBA, but because we're all here in person and not afraid to look at each other in case we'd catch something. So a big hearty congratulations to every graduate here for successfully navigating what is a daunting challenge, undertaking an MBA. And I have to say again, I'm honoured, and I must say surprised given the calibre and capabilities of the graduate student body to be standing here, but honoured to represent the class of 2021. We didn't do this, of course, alone. We must acknowledge those in our corners, our spouses, our families, our friends. Their support, nudging us to enter the programme, encouraging us to continue with it, shouldering more of life's chores, and being accepting of changed schedules due to extended project team calls. This was all crucial to our success. We thank you deeply. And to the faculty and administration of LFGSM, the curriculum is excellent in terms of its breadth, choice, structure, and contemporary business relevance. Meanwhile, even before the word of the year 2020 appeared, can you guess what that is? It's not covariance from statistics class, but you had the foresight to have a program in place that allowed us to participate in class remotely. Whilst we certainly missed the in-class participation and interaction, that foresight meant we experienced a seamless transition to an online world driven by COVID. To our educators, an attraction of this program for me was the teaching body being in business and from business. I expected they would bring a real-world perspective that stuffy academia could never deliver. Our experiences went beyond that. We didn't just get perspective, we got useful LinkedIn connections. We got incredible access and support during and indeed after our classes to discuss class subject issues, business challenges, new business ideas. We appreciate you all. To the employers who supported our studies in terms of time and in some case dollars, we thank you. I am self-employed, but I know many of these employers are getting more from the deal than they incurred. So don't forget to remind them that. And finally, to my classmates, even with online class, I can only say this was great fun, despite what often felt like a heavy workload and heavy challenges. My wife says apologies to the poor project teammates who had to listen to me over 18 months. But despite vigorous discussion and heated debate, we always seem to end up in a good spot. So that's a credit to us all. We should all look forward to hopefully crossing paths professionally with our LFGSM alumni. Now to change tack a little bit. I wish I could talk to the in-person networking and character building experiences of MBA class and MBA trips, but the pandemic put pay to that for many of us. So instead, I thought to look at the MBA through the lens of our team projects. It won't resonate with everybody, but here's some of the projects you might recognize and where I made a wee contribution. We had one drone project. Weirdly, the majority of drones in the US are made across the Pacific Ocean. We had a doggy daycare startup business assessment for the posh pups of the North Shore. We had one fine jewellery project. Diamonds are still just sparkly stones to me. We had an online retailer project where I think we can now help companies both green and greenwash their businesses. And maybe I should whisper this, but we had 3 alcohol-related projects. I wonder about my teammates, but I can assure everybody there was no sampling of product during our evaluations, unfortunately. For Hotchkiss, as Corey mentioned, I worked on a new processing technology which we tried to apply to a mature food category. John Pappas gave generously of his time at one point in recent weeks to discuss some challenges with my sponsor and I. He was right, of course. We ran into a brick wall, and some of those issues that he foresaw, actually the brick wall was swinging bats at the same time. But we're a resilient bunch, and we plan to keep going. We're evaluating workarounds. But to get back on message, there's a purpose and a conclusion here. And here's what struck me and may strike you if you think quickly about the projects you participated in. Firstly, we were all working with teams with incredibly diverse backgrounds and experiences, much more diverse than you're used to in your day-to-day lives. And secondly, lots of the projects focused on areas where we had no direct sector experience at all. Maybe some adjacency, but on many occasions, no direct experience. And despite that, All the graduates here today delivered project reports of incredible depth and sophistication. That output demonstrated not only the knowledge we've learned during the MBA, but the components of the Lake Forest Graduate School leadership model. For all of you who are not graduates today, just turn to those with the funny hats and ask them about the leadership components. They should, they will be able to list all 5 for you. The final thing to think about is how much change and improvement you notice from first project to last in terms of those leadership components. From strategic thought, your effectiveness in teams, your ability to be agile and innovative in solving challenges. So yeah, this is the improved me. They do say everything is relative, of course. But here's my conclusion. Your experience with the projects, your experiences working with people under the learnings of the LFGSM model, the knowledge that you accumulated, essentially your experience of the MBA. This should give us all an incredible resilience and confidence in our ability to accept and surmount new challenges in our professional futures. With that, I'll depart the podium, but thank you and congratulations again to the classes of 2020 and of 2021.
Congratulations, Brendan. Bear with me 1 second while I adhere to the process so that the wind doesn't take the whole book away. Since 1978, Lake Forest Graduate School of Management has presented the Distinguished Executive Award to an exceptional business leader who demonstrates the highest performance standards and business ethics and combines managerial excellence with a commitment of service to the community at large. This year, we are pleased to honor John Janaskal with this unique award. John is Executive Vice President, Core Diagnostics at Abbott. He was appointed to this role in June of 2019. John has been with Abbott for 39 years and has been an officer of the company since 2008. In his 42-year career in healthcare, John has amassed a breadth of experience that covers pharmaceuticals, hospital products, medical devices, and nutrition products. In his current role, John is leading a business that is transforming how diagnostic results are delivered and how ultimately they affect patient care. John earned a Bachelor of Science degree in chemistry from the University of Texas at Austin and an MBA from the Lake Forest Graduate School of Management. He has served on the board of the school since 2012. When I ask people about John, they all say the same thing. He's a principled, driven, and inspiring leader. He's trustworthy and genuine, and he gets results the right way. On a personal note, he has been an incredibly valuable sounding board for me and others on the leadership team of the school. For the powerful leadership example he has set for his entire career, it is my pleasure to extend the 2021 Distinguished Executive Award to John Janaskal. Here. Thank you. All yours.
So that I don't mess up your process.
All right, I got it.
President Anderson, members of the board, distinguished faculty, thank you for this honor and for the opportunity to speak today with the Lake Forest Graduate School of Management class of 2021 and 2020. Congratulations to all graduates on this great achievement. So graduates, I sat where you are right now 30 years ago today as part of the class of 1991. The years since have exceeded my wildest dreams of what was possible. And looking back, my MBA from this institution was certainly a key enabler of this success. In fact, that graduation day itself was a key step in a long series of surprises, challenges, and milestones that would define my career and bring me back here with you today. As I reflect back, the speaker at my graduation was Bill Smithberg, at that time CEO of Quaker Oats and as well a member of the board of directors of Abbott, who was my employer. This was spectacular for me. I had to pinch myself, sitting in the chairs that you sit in, to prove that it was real. I literally was thinking, how did I get here? And as I thought about the answer to that question, it led to another question. Well, where would I go next? So to all of you graduates, I want you to keep those two questions in mind through my talk today. When I came to Lake Forest in 1988, I was not quite a decade into my career. I was climbing the ladder by that time at Abbott, and I had 3 small children at home. So while extremely important to me, school was an extra. I wasn't going to overextend myself as I had a lot of things in life going on at that time. So business school had to be local. That left 3 options for me personally. Number 1, Northwestern, DePaul, and Lake Forest. They all had good reputations. Some names were bigger than others. But my thinking was this: the institution, it's important, but my effort to learn from an institution was even more so. I could get great training at each, but the decisive factor would be, how much am I going to put into it? Lake Forest ultimately made the most sense for my life, and it was up to me and me alone to make the most of the experience. This school was and remains fully capable of providing a great opportunity to learn, to grow, and to achieve. And while that was important, I knew that only I could really make it all worthwhile. And I'd say the same logic applies to my workplace at Abbott. The organization Abbott provides the mission, it provides the structure and a lot of the resources. But the question was and remains, what can I make of them? Now, from my perspective, there are basically 4 things that I think most of us want from our work. Number 1, we want the work we do to matter. Number 2, we want to work with good people in a positive environment. And we want to be stimulated and challenged so we can grow personally and professionally. And finally, we want to be rewarded for our work, to build security, to build a future. Now, of these, clearly for me the most important is the first, doing work that matters. Because once that's solved for, the others tend to flow naturally. Good work draws good people. Good people make for a positive environment, and that stimulates growth, and growth leads to achievement and reward. It's a virtuous cycle. And each of you graduating today has earned a place in this virtuous cycle. Think of it as the school being the good place and your fellow graduates being very good people. So what's next? My first job out of college in 1980 was at Johnson & Johnson. I started there as a chemist and was at the company during the infamous Tylenol crisis. And some of you don't know what that is, you can Google it. But it was a very significant event back in 1982. And in fact, at that time, I was a manufacturing supervisor at one of the plants where Tylenol was produced during the crisis itself. Later that same year, I joined Abbott, where I've been ever since, and where I've been part of a team currently facing another crisis, this time of a significantly larger magnitude, that being COVID-19. As Jeff mentioned, I lead Abbott's core diagnostics laboratory business. Together with my colleagues in the rapid diagnostics unit, we leapt into the fray of COVID as part of the first line of response, because our purpose as a healthcare company is very clear. We knew right away we could do something to help this pandemic, that we could do something to help the world meet the challenges in front of us. So there was no question about what we needed to do, only how best to do it. And in record time, we produced 12 different diagnostic tests to detect the virus, its antigens and antibodies, so as to protect people from this contagious and often deadly virus and give people greater confidence in living their lives. Now, I'm not suggesting all of you should work in healthcare, although I do think it's a great industry to consider, but I do encourage you to find your own equivalent, a place where you work and that can make a difference for others and a meaningful contribution to our society. A striking example of that idea is Dr. Wallace Abbott, the founder of our company, who founded as one man working alone in his kitchen to make better, more effective medicines for his patients over 120 years ago. And look what that's led to, a Fortune 100 company that literally benefits millions of lives every single day. Now let's think about the institution you're currently involved with, this Lake Forest Graduate School of Management. You may not know this, but the school began 75 years ago this year when Abbott joined 2 other local companies to form the Lake Forest College of Industrial Management Institute. Today, Lake Forest is a highly respected and recognized institution, turning out professionals such as yourselves who are not just well-versed in business strategy and mechanics, but focused on using that knowledge and skill to participate in and even to lead organizations ethically, responsibly, and purposefully. So perhaps the answers to the questions that I asked myself 30 years ago, that is, how did I get here and where do I go, are consistent and similar to the answers that have led Abbott to become the company it is today, and the same answers that have led this fine institution at Lake Forest to become what it is today. And hopefully, some of these answers can and will influence your future as well. I encourage each of you to think about making your choice of a path one that's worthy. Make sure you use your abilities wisely and with compassion. Leverage your energy and leverage your precious time to do the work that really matters and that you have conviction for. Today, you've taken a huge stride on that path towards an amazing future. You are on your way. So like me 30 years ago, maybe pinch yourself a little bit and then think about questions, because you do not want to miss that great opportunity. Congratulations, and thank you very much.
Congratulations, John. Good afternoon. I'm Carol Modlin, Director of Faculty and Degree Programs, and it's my honor to introduce to you this year's Distinguished Faculty Award recipient. Every year, one instructor is selected to receive the Distinguished Faculty Award. This award recognizes an instructor who embodies the Lake Forest Graduate School of Management leadership model, who is committed to academic excellence, demonstrates intellectual rigor, shows contagious enthusiasm for the subjects taught, makes a significant contribution to the quality of the student learning experience, demonstrates integrity in student relationships, and enables opportunities for business impact through providing practical, applicable curriculum and student guidance. This is a tall list, and although most of our faculty demonstrate these qualities, this year's award recipient takes it to the next level. Our award recipient began his journey serving as a U.S. Army Signal Corps officer, and then went on to earn his MBA from the Harvard Business School, where he was a Baker Scholar. Then, as a business professional, our award recipient spent nearly 40 years as a senior leader, first at a privately owned distributor of material handling equipment and cutting tools, and then at a health and life insurance company where he developed and implemented strategic partnerships with marketing organizations, third-party administrators, and reinsurers. Using his strategic insight and ability to execute, he conceived of and created a health insurance unit that grew to account for 1/3 of the company's premium. In a desire to share what he'd learned as a successful business executive, our award recipient became a faculty member of Lake Forest Graduate School of Management 32 years ago. Almost immediately, his contributions to learning excellence and commitment to the students were felt in the classroom and throughout the school. He became a board member, a role that he held for 8 years. He then went on to be vice chair of the board for 3 years and board chair for another 3 years after that. He also held the role of interim school president for a year. This instructor has a passion for strategy, innovation, and leadership development, and these are at the core of what he brings to the table. To this day, he continues to seek out new ways to use and deepen his understanding of these three disciplines, to incorporate them into his work, and to share them with his students in the classroom. Several years ago, our award recipient became a certified executive coach. And he combined his executive coaching with his teaching skills. And as he began to use his new skills, he used them to help develop strong leaders among the students at Lake Forest Graduate School of Management. Eventually, he also included people from the business community. And as his abilities grew, so did his circle of involvement. And today, in addition to his involvement with Lake Forest Graduate School of Management, he also is an adjunct professor at Lake Forest College's entrepreneurship program. He is a board member and mentor at the Fresh Start Business Incubator in Libertyville. He is a volunteer advisor at the Small Business Development Center of Lake County, a not-for-profit where he provides consultation and coaching support to small business owners. Through these avenues and as an important contributor at Lake Forest Graduate School, he brings together his business and classroom know-how to guide students and professionals as they chart and implement business growth plans to help them expand beyond their existing horizons. And all the while all this is going on, our award recipient has also been a leading contributor to the LFGSM degree program in a variety of important ways. He led curriculum design, improvement, and assessment through involvement in several task forces. He has mentored numerous faculty members, guiding them and helping them learn how to teach well. He has taught 111 classes in subjects that include innovation and risk, strategic management, which is the capstone course, strategic thinking, and leadership. 1,576 unique students have had the benefit of being in this excellent faculty members class. And many of you here today are counted among that number. He has always been quick to embrace new technology and teaching techniques that add value to the student experience, and he champions those innovations among his fellow faculty members. This faculty member is curious and continually builds on his own knowledge and what he has to offer. He is an excellent role model for our students. Through his example, students are inspired to continue their own leadership development. I'd like to share with you some student comments about this instructor that we got from the final course evaluations. This is the most responsive instructor I've had during my time at LFGSM, who was very quick to grade assignments and provided excellent and insightful feedback. He was very prepared for every class and was available when needed, a committed instructor. He was very passionate about teaching this course. He really wanted us to succeed and enjoy what was being taught. A knowledgeable, excellent instructor, the class was engaged in the lessons and discussions were insightful. And finally, I appreciate his instruction style. This instructor is accommodating and supportive and inspired us in many ways to view innovation with curiosity and purpose. I am pleased to introduce to you the Distinguished Faculty Award recipient for 2021, Monty Edson. Please join me in congratulating Monty.
Thank you, Carol. You know, I never planned to be here. I never planned to be a teacher, but over 30 years ago, I was seated next to a big bear of a man at a Harvard Business School event in Chicago, a luncheon, by the name of Moose Dunn, who is the founder and first CEO, president of the Lake Forest Graduate School of Management. We talked a little bit about what he did, what I did, thought nothing about it. 3 or 4 days later, a stack of books showed up at my home with a note, "You're teaching." Things were a little loosey-goosey back then. We're much more organized today about bringing on faculty and getting them on an onboarding process. Fortunately, after I begged him, he paired me up with an experienced instructor, and I began to learn what it was like to be in front of a class. It's been a great experience, a great learning experience for me. And so today, what I really want to do in a very short presentation is to thank not just the school, but more importantly, to thank each one of you, the students, because I've learned more from you, I think, than you've ever learned from me. I've got a quote that I like to read by Oscar Hammerstein that I share with lots of people. This is the American lyricist. He said, "If you become a teacher, by your pupils you will be taught." And I think that's been the case for me. Now, my education was kind of eclectic. I have a BA in American literature. Anybody wants to talk about Moby Dick and the Tripod or Hester Prynne and the Scarlet Letter, I'd be happy to do that after this. Went on to go through an ROTC program, served some time in the military, got an MBA, but all of this was kind of unfocused. I never really had a plan of what I wanted to do. I hate to say that. And my education was more about learning stuff than doing stuff. Very different, I think, than what we do with you here at the school. So what I've learned from you is how important it is to go beyond learning stuff, beyond knowledge, to focus relentlessly on the application of tools that we can acquire in the classroom and how we apply those to our work and to our relationships and to our own lives. You've shared those doing stories with me, the things that you've done in the classroom and in the projects, work-related projects you've done inside and outside of class. So what I've learned, in essence, is how important it is to extend the learning arena beyond the classroom, beyond what I had as my traditional education. You might call this doing in order to learn, whereas my education, I think, was more about learning in order to do later, right? The great aim of education is not knowledge, but action, as Herbert Spencer, the philosopher, biologist, sociologist, said. It's not knowledge, but action. Or Steve Blank, who many of you from our Innovation Risk course are familiar with, the author of the Startup Owner's Manual, "Get out of the building," his famous line. The second thing I've learned from you as I've watched you develop and implement and update your personal leadership plans, the one you put together in our first leadership course, I've learned how amazingly powerful those plans are to help you chart your own course in life. As you've worked on your personal leadership plan, you've identified through the power of introspection, personal assessment instruments, reflection, peer feedback, and your own self-awareness, you've identified those key elements that you need to change in order to do what you have to do to get what you want in life, right? Not just in business, but in all of your aspects of your life. As Rumi, the Persian poet, said, "Yesterday I was clever, so I wanted to change the world. Today I'm wise, so I'm changing myself." And I think a lot of what we see in these personal leadership plans is your recognition that you have to grow and develop in certain areas of your life to be the person you want to be. I wish I'd had something like this in my early education, and I envy you for having it. So as you will leave this LFGSM experience, you're going to leave with, 1, a bias to action, and 2, an updated personal plan for yourself, right? To help you develop as a leader at work, at home, in your community. This is great. But as we say in both our innovation course and in our strategy course, the one thing you know about a plan is that it's wrong. It's never going to unfold the way that you put it together. So a couple of things to think about. First, if you haven't done so already, incorporate more than the career in these plans. Use the 6F framework, which I encourage everyone to do. Family. Think about what these other F elements are going to be. Family, friends, fitness, faith, fortune, and fun, right? Make sure you have all of those elements in your plan. Second, write it out. A plan isn't a plan unless it's written. And third, share it with others. Somebody that can hold you accountable for checking in once in a while. If you haven't shared it with a family member, a trusted advisor, a close friend, a mentor, it isn't a plan. It's not a plan unless it's written, unless it's been shared. And fourth, schedule regular milestone checkups. Put these on your calendar, maybe every year, maybe every other year. and invite your accountability partners to participate in checking in to see how you're doing in developing and implementing your plan. And finally, don't be afraid to change it as you learn and grow, because if it's wrong to begin with, it must be revised as you learn and grow. Eisenhower said, plans are worthless, but planning is everything. So putting that plan together is more important than the content of it. To improve is to change, so to be perfect is to change often. Finally, thank you for teaching me and selecting me for this honor. I'm really, truly grateful. Thanks again. I can get this.
16 degree candidates have achieved a perfect 4.0 GPA. 10 from the class of 2020, 6 from the class of 2021. 10 of them from these classes are present today. With those 10 candidates attending commencement today from either the class of 2020 or 2021 who've achieved a perfect 4.0, please stand now and be recognized. Congratulations. Please be seated. Thank you. The degree candidates before us have shown their dedication to leadership and personal development through the completion of their degree program requirements. It is my great honor and pleasure as Chief Academic Officer to present the candidates for the degrees of Master of Business Administration, Master of Science in Management, and Master of Science in Project Leadership. Would all the graduation candidates from the classes of 2020 and 2021 please stand now and be recognized. Mr. President, the students standing before you are candidates for the degrees of Master of Business Administration, Master of Science in Management, and Master of Science in Project Leadership. They have completed all prescribed academic requirements for their degree. It is the recommendation of the faculty, which has been confirmed by the Board of Directors, that these degrees be conferred upon them.
By the authority of the state of Illinois, given to the Board of Directors of Lake Forest Graduate School of Management and entrusted by them to me, I hereby confer upon you, who have completed all requirements, the degrees of Master of Business Administration, Master of Science in Management, and Master of Science in Project Leadership, together with all attendant privileges and responsibilities. Please be seated. How about some applause for those graduates?
Rhonda Wallace Adair. Aparna S. Adkoli. Ashish Agarwal. Joanna Gabrielle Aguirre. Amir Ali. Yamini Ashuk. Vinay Agasubrama Balasubramanian. Chad Allen Balk. Angelina Beyer. Diana Sue Booth. Christina L. Botkin. Theodore Ryan Kalika. Jeffrey William Calvert. Benedetta Canestra. Joseph Scott Castronova. Zach Maxwell Cole. Kimberly Ann DiFrancesco. Rosa Estrada Doyle. Sarah Ann Ford. Gina Ray Frank. Paulina A. Garcia Jimenez. Elizabeth Garnier. Stephanie Goudreau. Daniel Max Greenhill. Juan Andres Guerrera. Robert Yanis Gulens. Ashish Buratrao Gundawar. Anupama Gupta. Pankaj Gupta. Shauna Hutchison. Kevin Miles Jajic. Christopher Janasic. Anna M. Jarosek. Akram Jarad. Sanjeev Kumar Jha. Lisa M. Kinzier. Nadeem Asif Khan. Mahesh Dattatray Kote. George Frank Kowalski. Ariana Chloe Kramer. Matthew William Krause. Shane Lee Krupinski. John Frederick Kufal. Jason Douglas Law. Barbara Adeyinka Lawal. Lindsay B. Lerner. Kenny Ken Lim Lo. Sheldon Loving Jr. Jody Lynn Moffett. Thomas Patrick Magana. Noor Jahan Makbul. Mansi Ramesh Mehta. Angelica Elizabeth Morisi. Peter Carl Ogilvy. Brendan Mahan. Cheryl O'Heath. Uchenna Olekanma. Hema S. Patel. Sachin Patel. Lizette Pena Pindraza. Emily K. Perry. Rajesh Rajanala. Bridget Maria Reed. Angeli M. Rivas. Elaine Hope Rodriguez. Senthil Kumar Selvaraj. Nirav Mukeshbhai Shah. Sidra Shakur. Michael Stillman. Eric Carl Simendinger. Magdalena Slaughter. Billy Dwayne Stiggers, Jr. Pranay Sarati. Raymond Anthony Sutter. Rakesh Thakar. Usharani Tununguntla. Richard Urena II. Thomas Vedicad. Tatiana Viktorovna Stock. Natalia Volchek. Amanda Jane Zivich.
That was fun, right? All right, please join me one more time in congratulating the class of 2020 and 2021. Before we recess, we'd like to acknowledge several groups of people who have significantly contributed to the quality of your educational experience. We ask those acknowledged to stand and remain standing. Please hold your applause until the end. Our board of directors, our outstanding faculty, our dedicated staff or volunteers. Please stand or wave if you're already standing somewhere. Thank you for your contributions. Please be seated. Finally, I invite you graduates to honor the most important people of all, your family and friends who have supported you through this entire journey. Stand up and give them a round of applause. Yeah, you all did it. Now, on behalf of the Board of Directors, faculty, and staff, Our thanks to each of you for permitting us to know you and to share in this portion of your life. Now, this is the part of the ceremony where it's customary for the person in my role to leave you with an uplifting, inspiring message. I thought a lot about what would be best given all that we have been through together the last couple of years. I thought to myself, what lesson above all others does life want us to take away right now? And as is often the case, the answer is right here among us. Two of the graduates celebrating with us today set a powerful example. One began this journey in 1997, and the other in 2003. Let that sink in for a moment. 18 and 21 years, respectively. I don't know about you, but I think that's the definition of perseverance. I don't know the details of their stories, but I can imagine. Think about all that's happened to you in your life in 20 years. I'm sure it wasn't easy for them. I know there were many times they thought they would not reach this day. But they are here today, and along the way, they set a powerful example for all of us. As you leave here and begin again to work toward the personal and professional goals that are important to you, remember those examples. As Winston Churchill said in October of 1941, never give in. Never, never, never. In nothing great or small, large or petty, never give in. Finally, you leave here as a member of a new group, alumni of the Lake Forest Graduate School of Management. And our commitment to you does not end. We are here to help however we can. Go now and do big things. We will be silently cheering for you every day. Thank you.
The commencement exercises are now completed. Audience, please remain seated while the faculty and graduates recess. We will dismiss you shortly. Would the faculty and the graduates please stand for the recessional?